everybody. It is time for Curiosity Challenge Strixhaven week number 4. I'm Nathaniel, twitch.tv/the_ida with Zach, twitch.tv/SwordsAndStatutes. We have free weekly 3-match tournaments each Saturday at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Right now, you're either watching live on Twitch or Undead on YouTube. But, before we get into it, Zach, what is Curiosity?
Well, Nathaniel, I'm glad you asked. Curiosity is the most affordable, the most accessible format in Magic. And, we got our format rules here. It's a big book, but it's so simple to learn. Curiosity is a 40-card minimum deck size using the most recent set of Magic cards, and we have rarity restrictions. Within your 40-card deck, you must have 2 singleton rare or mythic cards and 6 uncommons with a maximum of 2 copies of any one uncommon. The rest of your 40-card deck is made of commons up to 4 copies of any one common, and then basic lands. There's also an 8-card sideboard, which doesn't necessarily have rarity restrictions. In that, you can have 8 rares, 8 mythics, for instance, but you cannot break the other restrictions. So, you can't have 2 copies of the same rare anywhere in your main or sideboard. Similarly, with uncommons, you can't have 3 of the same uncommon across your main or sideboard. Specifically for Strixhaven, we are allowing the Mystical Archive cards to be played. However, they must be played at the rarity they are printed in the Mystical Archive.
Nice. Well, thanks for explaining that, Zach. What makes Curiosity a little bit different than other kind of tournaments and communities is that we play on Discord, and we do have rooms for you to voice chat against your opponent if you want to, and because not everyone wants to chat through your go, hello, oops.
Hedrons.
Oh, Hedrons, yes.
Yeah. It's the worst.
So, you might you might make some friends along the way. So it's really cool. It's a really chill environment. Also, by just participating in the free weekly Curiosity Challenges, you will earn points towards the end of the season, where we cut to our top 7 to find our crowned cave dweller for the end of the season. If you don't make top 7, well, that's okay. We do have a losers round, a losers tournament, and if you just play 1 week, you can still enter that tournament and get that 8th spot. But let's take a peek of where we're at, beginning on week number 4.
Yeah, so looking here, things are, well, for one thing, we have again a very growing format. It's something where between the past couple seasons, our format, our community has just kept growing. Mm-hmm. We've had new people every week this season, which has been excellent, and we hope that you will become a new player as well. But looking up here, we have 2 players tied for first with 8 points. Those are Ensignredshirt and the Mana Sultan. And then the rest of the pack is kind of clustered at that 5 and 4 point range. Even Teal's Dust Smurf, who is currently sitting at 9, has 4 points, even though they were the Ooze, the last placed in week 3. So again, at this point in the season, even though we're going into the halfway mark, it is wide open for people to come in and make their mark on the season.
Yeah, and we definitely see, sure, we have our folks who are getting, winning 2 out of the 3 games each week, and then we have folks who don't show up, but or haven't have missed a week or 2. You see that number 7 is where we start getting into the 4 drops. Just if you happen to win the weekly tournament and you're the best player with the best record, Out of the 3 matches, you will get 5 points. So just by being the Crown Cave Dweller once, you're already in the top 8. If you happen to go 3 weeks in a row, or 2 weeks in a row with winning 2 out of the 3 matches, you're also there. We are. We're at 5th place. So
Yeah.
there's always room for growing. And even if you're not that great, there's always room for practicing and hoping that you get into the losers channel.
And you know where you can practice? On our Discord.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
always people hanging out, chilling, people from around the world, either wanting to get a game or just kind of chat. We got people showing pictures of the cats, talking about decks, talking about other formats too. So yeah, our Discord will be linked below. It is free, and we hope you will come hang out.
And enough of our blabbering. Let's get on to the first match of the week right now. Okay, here we are. Round number 1. It is Queenie Airy versus the Mana Sultan. Now, both of them stream on Twitch. Queenie Airy, E-R-I, and Mana Sultan. So
The Mana Sultan.
The Mana Sultan. Get the right one.
Yeah. You don't want just a Mana Sultan.
Or Mana Sultan number 1.
Yeah. You want the Mana Sultan. And we are watching from Queenie's perspective here. Mana Sultan won last week and has a very tight Azorius aggro list. And I think Queen is going to give him a run for his money this week because she's running a very fast Silver Quill.
Silver Quill. List. Yeah, and Sultan actually not playing a creature feels bad. But Queenie Airy probably can get this. Well, I guess it's right. Put the campus down. Play a Star Pupple.
Star Pupple is that's one you just don't want to have to play unless you can get it rolling. Because especially if you get it down and then you don't get any if you don't get value off of it, man, you just done wasted your time.
You don't waste your time. Now, Mana Sultan mulliganed.
Oof.
And then did not get a 3rd land drop. Said, I like these cards. 2 lands is doable, and a 3rd land drop is really what's gonna make it happen. And then we got the Frost Tricksty.
Frost Trickster works pretty well, especially knocking down that Pledge Mage. Queenie's got a lot of options here, though. Being able to either study break the Trickster or just get rid of it with Umbral Juke.
Yeah, Umbrella Juke is a great card, but it's one of those things that I don't know. I would rather use it, not have to actually play it. I don't think it's a good enough card.
I think it's actually constructed viable. I've used it in some of my mono black decks.
Yeah, I just I feel like in this format, having a sacrifice a creature in a easy, wide. Sometimes boards can go wide. Now, I'm not going to say that Mana Sultan's board's going to go wide, but we're playing for, the winner of the week, not just one match. Now, Guiding Voice feels a little bit better. Your opponent, you will get to remove your opponent, but you don't want to have Umbrella Juke on and then force your opponent to sacrifice a 1/1 that when it dies, see, here we go. Yeah. Umbrella Juke, worthless. Moving on.
It is sort of going down in value even more because the 2/1 can't get rid of that 3/3 now. So maybe you're right, Nathaniel.
Yeah, and 2/1 can't get rid of it. If you use it, you're just going to grow the Frost Trickster because your opponent's going to get rid of the Star Pupple. But hey, what do I know? Queenie is has a better board presence at the very moment, but might not last. Can still attack in with the Star Pupple on her turn. especially with expanded anatomy.
However, Sultan getting down combat professor, that's gonna. I feel like that may complicate things here. Uh, that will. It's whereas it looked like Queenie's next turn was going to be drop Shadewing Laureate just to kind of get some value out of this. But now with the guiding voice on top of the combat professor, or using the guiding voice on Star Pupple, what do you think Mana Sultan's going to learn for here? Let me pull up his learn board.
Well, I think here's the issue with what Mana Sultan has going on right now. Is actually it's not that bad. I thought he was going to attack with the Pupple, but is keeping up some, keeping up a wall to be able to deal damage. I think what we want to see here actually is something that we can't do. You can all. Well, I was thinking about how do you get rid of the Star Pupple and then Umbrella Juke? Your opponent's Pupple and then your Juke. But see, you're still not trading the way you want to trade.
Well, Queenie has offered an interesting scenario here, sort of begging Mana Sultan to block. I guess begging him to block the Star Pupil, which would then allow him to expand, I guess, Combat Professor. Queenie does still have up one black mana, so it looks like, at least for Mana Sultan, that she's bluffing a Lash of Malice.
A Lash of Malice, or even the Liliana spell.
Confront the Past?
Huh?
Confront the Past?
I
know, yeah. Professor's Warning.
Professor's Warning.
Okay. Sultan lets through 3 and only kills his own Pupple.
Yeah. The Frost Trickster, that seems kind of scary, but here's the thing. And knowing how Mana Sultan plays, I don't think he's going to attack with the Combat Professor. And what he's going to do is just, because even though he looks like he's behind, he's in the driving seat, probably playing around Expel.
I think that is a very astute observation there. Let me...
maybe not. Moving on. I was wrong.
Well, let's see. I don't know if Queenie is actually playing Expel. It definitely fits within her deck type. But man,
she is playing white.
Bopping in for... was that 8 right there?
Bopping in for 8. And...
yeah. Queenie is not playing Expel. However, she's doing 2 Study Break to sort of get that tap in. And in her sideboard, there are no Expels either. Mostly a learn board on her deck.
Well, and that's why I don't like Umbrella Juke, because it would, if it's uncommon, I believe, and holding up a space in your deck for an uncommon that doesn't always hit feels bad. If it was a common, then I might like it a little bit more, but I feel like there's as we could tell, there's more removal spells that are just more fun.
I think another aspect of Umbrella Juke is that you can just use it as a creature on either player's turn, but and at least you're not doing that in a sort of telegraphed way like with Inkling Summoning. But whether or not that's actually worthwhile, worth the card, is kind of who's to say.
I'm to say, and I still do not like Umbrella Juke. When you're casting, you can say whatever you want, right? Your opinion is God, because there's only 2 opinions. The right opinion, my opinion, and your opinion.
Yeah, that's it. What are you drinking? You drinking Powerade? Is that Kool-Aid?
Gatorade.
Oh, wow.
I recently stopped drinking single serving beverages about 3 weeks ago, and so
Nice.
the only thing I drink now is tea, water, and Gatorade.
You
It's
know
like
who else drinks Gatorade?
who?
The Silver Quill Pledge Mage.
Silver Quill Plasmage. Now
That's how they get their expanded anatomy.
this is a pretty good thing, but
This is
this is not a
this is
pretty good thing.
foolhardy. I don't think.
Are we trying to trick our opponent?
Queenie still has 2 mana up. Can't cast anything else, but is going to take out. Okay. Well, looks. Did she gain some life there?
Yeah, she
Is
gained
there a
5 life.
gain? Okay. I missed because I was asking about Gatorade. I missed where the life gain came from.
Now, this is a little interesting. I think we wouldn't have seen that if he didn't have.
So, 5 mana could just cast Owlin's Shield Mage, and block for a turn.
I don't know how you block for a turn when you have 4 life, and your opponent has 5, 7, 9, 12 on the other side.
No one has trample though, so it seems like Queenie could go through at least one more turn.
But she doesn't have any flyers.
Oh my gosh, you're right. I missed that.
The opponent has all flyers, as shown as the cards floating in the air.
So in that case, yeah, Owlin's Shield Mage is only going to block 1. She's got Umbral Juke that could take out something. Lesha Malice could take out one of the Frost Tricksters. All right, let's get our Juke on.
I think her plan is to see, does her opponent make a mistake and sacrifice a blocker, which I find highly unlikely, but you got to try it. Now,
yeah, there's the concede. Queenie probably thinking, dang, I should have used that Lash first. Should have used that Lash Blast.
And see, here's the thing about having a a lesson board. You have these umbrella jukes that are not good in this matchup. Well, you could trade one out for noxious fumes, but
yeah, can't really. That's something where noxious fumes is a huge cost, and you'd rather just be able to learn it and get it just sort of when you need it, rather than hope you draw it. So Queenie not doing any sideboarding. Let's take a look at Sultan's sideboard. It's very similar, to be honest.
Another lesson board.
We got 3 Inkling Summonings, 2 Expanded Enemies, 1 Mascot Exhibition, and 1 Environmental Sciences, and 1 Reduced to Memory. So all lessons all the time.
I think we've spoken about this a lot, but if you haven't heard us speak about this, we did predict that there's going to be a lot of lessons in the sideboards at the beginning of the season. And we are on week 4, almost halfway through the season.
Exactly halfway
through the season, and we are still seeing these lesson boards. And I think it's very interesting because personally, I think that they're not as good at you basically, with lesson boards in most decks, they're not as good because you have 2 weaker spells at their rarity when you could just have, for the most part, like Guiding Voice is an okay card. It's good in this scenario, but is a +1/+1 counter plus a random spell as good as I mean, a better card. It seems very limiting in what your choices are, but mainly in what we just saw, the sideboarding is um, almost impossible,
Mhm.
and that's how you get your edge.
So looking here, Sultan has what I feel like they're almost equally paired here. Where Sultan has a Thunderous Order, which is just going to keep getting better. That's a must kill right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Queenie did get down one of her rares, Dramatic Finale. The thing about Dramatic Finale, I love that card, but it really incentivizes you to attack with abandon and sort of hope that your creatures die. Um, and the interesting thing about it too is that it only triggers once per turn. So like for instance, Queenie may have her eye bite and her arrogant poet both die, but she's only going to get one 2/1 token. I
Mm.
have mistaken that multiple times, and it is not a fun position to be in.
Well, I honestly, I don't know if we're on, Queenie's on. I guess Sultan's on turn 5, and if you look at Queenie's deck, she wants to have Mana Sultan dead as fast as possible, and I'm not quite seeing it here.
I think next turn when she gets out the second combat professor, that may sort of turn the tide. However, Sultan dropping down another guiding voice uh, and pulling out a reduced to memory, that's gonna, well, at least his Thunderous Order is going to be able to push through. Um, reduced to memory, getting rid of Dramatic Finale and giving Queenie a 3/2. That's a pretty good swing.
Yeah, no, that changes things up a lot, and this is what we kind of see. You have to get necrotic fumes.
Yep.
You have to kill something that you don't necessarily want to kill, or I mean, maybe you kill the poet, but you kind of want the poet, but you got to get rid of something.
I think you get rid of the poet here because the 3/2 token, even though it's more susceptible to removal or bounce, um, that's going to be a bit heavier for your bopping in.
Agree and disagree. I definitely feel like having the flying abilities on attacks.
Mm.
Although it seems like Queenie can't buff her creatures outside of Combat Professor. I don't remember exactly what she has.
I think she has guiding voice. Um, but yeah, I think that's the only way elsewise she can really buff it. Whereas Sultan has sparing regime, which can come down and is a just beast to deal with.
Yeah, and we kind of see this thing with Mana Sultan. I don't think he really cares about his creatures as long as they fly.
Mm-hmm.
And we're most likely going to see a Combat Professor trade out with a 3/1, um, or maybe not at all.
So Queenie is also running sparring regimen.
Okay.
So if she gets that out, um, I I feel like Sultan's gonna have a tough time, especially when she's already got two combat professors here. Um, it is questionable whether or not we're going to see much attacking though, because we have a board state at more or less parity. The study break, that could be quite useful
Yeah,
now,
I feel like you study break now, or
or
maybe
not,
she says no, and
or
but
maybe on attacks. That could be
yeah, maybe on attacks, maybe right now. Okay, never mind.
nope.
Maybe right now. Nope. Okay.
Also
Maybe
to
right
note,
now.
to note as well, Sultan has approached the second sun as his other rare, and he has 8 mana up. So we could be seeing that. here soon. Interesting that we saw Study Break here. Umbral Juke would have been a really strong choice right there.
I think the reason why she did an Umbrella Juke is because she wants to play her study break, um, tap everything down, and attack all, which,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be 9. So then your opponent, well, never
Ooh,
mind.
okay. That was some hot tech from Sultan, waiting until Queenie had paid the ward cost to Test
Hmm.
of Talents. So really taxing Queenie's mana.
I think right now you just go all in. And I thought, okay. I thought
I,
maybe you spread the love and go all in.
no, that was the right call because there was the potential that one of the combat professors could have been taken out. But now we see the Umbrella Juke, and that's going to get rid of the Waterfall Aerialist without triggering the ward cost. Hitting in for 6.
Hitting for 6 in the air. So opponent needs to get a creature down. But we do have Professor's Warning as long as we have another turn.
Another Aerialist. Let's see. So I think Queenie just realized, oh shoot, oh well, actually no, there was enough to get through. I was doing the math wrong.
You were doing the math wrong.
Yeah.
And you
Can't
know
do
what?
math.
My mom just texted me.
What'd she say?
She said, "Do you remember Nick something something? Uh, uh, somebody in church, their son went to his wedding."
Cool.
And I'm like, "All right, mom. Thanks for that information." Some guy who was in marching band that I didn't know got married. Well,
Good for
congratulations, Nick, for
yeah,
getting
Nick.
married.
Hey Nick, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel,
What are you even doing with
yeah,
your life?
how did you get
Probably,
married?
probably marching
Yeah, to the beat of his own drum.
to the beat of his own drum. So this is not a good hand for Queenie. I wonder if she keeps it. No
Uh,
black, no creatures that you can play. Study break, sure, but you only have a few study breaks that can do anything. This is worse, but
this is
I mean, not worse. It's
it's
slightly
playable.
it's playable.
I would have kept the first hand
Well,
because the study break would have been enough to get you through.
the study break, but as we kind of see, study break and Queenies is more of a get through, not
Yeah,
I you
than to
can't
survive.
waste it. Yeah.
That's a good point. Very good point. You know, Nathaniel, we have been chided. Hilario, one of our fantastic players, they said in chat, with all the lessons that we're learning here, we're still doing the math wrong.
Hilario, number one jokester.
Uh,
So Thunderous Orator can't do anything. Queenie showing that sparing regime.
Sparing regime this early, especially with Star Pupil, that is going to be really strong. And then turn 3 sparing regime into combat professor.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like it's going to be an early lead for Queenie if she can get rid of
Thunderous Orator.
yes.
But
Yeah.
well, we've kind of know that her deck is not
Ooh.
good at removing spells, but does have
Wow.
a
Both
third,
rares.
both rares. Now they're both enchantments, and her opponent has a sideboard enchantment removal, so not a definite win con in that. I think we might have 1 or 2 enchantment removals, but I'm not 100% sure.
So we saw her put the token on 2-star people as expected, and learn for the Inkling summoning. Um, that was that was a bit surprising, because Necrotic Fumes pairs with Dramatic Finale quite well. I think it does, unless it has to. I may be thinking of the text wrong.
You could be, but I mean, who really knows?
Yes, I am, because Necrotic Fumes makes you exile a creature you control, not destroy it or sacrifice
Yes. Hey, that's okay. It's only halfway through the season.
it.
Who's counting? We're probably going to see a double attack. Here's the thing about Sparring Regime and the creatures that you have. You want those creatures to die, so we really need to. Honestly, I think a combat professor would have been a little bit better.
I tend to agree, but I really like this attack here because she definitely thought about sending in both, but only doing Star Pupil really makes the block hard for Mana Sultan. And if it dies, that makes Eye Twitch a 4/4.
Yeah, and then maybe play Combat Professor next turn, get your Eye Twitch to, higher. Man, Sultan really thinking about this. Really in the think tank.
Only one blew up though, and I mean, correct me, but I don't think there's a bounce or anything like that he can really respond with.
I think he's doing one of two things. Thinking about, do I put the Star Pupple in the way, let it die, or did my microwavable burrito get ready, and I'm going to put it on a plate and go, hot. So Star Pupple, I think he put it on the Inkling. I think that's the smartest move.
Yeah.
But,
okay. Thunderous Orator.
I mean, he is the Crowned Cave Dweller.
That's true.
Okay. Frost Trickster. Going in with the crew.
Oh. Okay. All right. So Queenie chose. Oh, that's why. Because Thunderous Orator got flying.
Yes. Thunderous Orator is one of those cards that you just need to make sure you're keeping track of, because it can get kind of crazy.
It's just something where, like, you do have to do a little bit of work to build around it, I guess, but it takes so little to make it do so much, and so much depends upon its red wheelbarrow.
Oh my god. No. What?
Okay, so we got a block there to kill the combat professor. We did get a 3/2 token. This is a weird block here too. I think Shadewing Laureate is definitely the right call.
Mm-hmm.
But is it even worth attacking?
Yeah, because your creature gets vigilance.
It's true.
In a sense. It doesn't get vigilance, but it untaps.
Pseudo.
So you just go in with your Star Pupple. But, if your opponent has another Trickster or anything to take out a flyer, the game is donezo. So Queenie really needed to find something to keep things going. Although if Mana Sultan can't find removal, he can't attack.
He can't.
Can't find it. Getting another flyer. I think this Test of Talents.
That's what I was feeling, but that really hurts to use on a lesson that he more or less knows is not going to be in the board, or in the main board.
Yeah.
If you're Queenie right now, you're feeling pretty good.
You're feeling great, yeah.
Because your board is in a really good state. You're probably going to attack in with Star Pupple, and either get in 6 damage or just buff one of your other dudes.
Yeah, I think maybe attacking with the Inkling would be a little bit better. I think that helps grow Shadewing, and it also kind of takes out a creature. But hey, Queenie's still with her back against the ropes. The opponent on the other side of the battlefield, Sultan, still has one or two blocks. If Queenie doesn't have removal, Queenie does not have. Okay, see, this is something really good for Queenie.
Okay, so Sultan passes the turn with a board state in a better place, but still nothing that's gonna really get him past this.
Yeah, I feel like you attack with the Inkling.
Well, I think what she's doing here is, yeah, she's gonna go grab necrotic fumes.
Well, I was talking about from Mana Sultan. Mana Sultan attacks with Inkling, forces a block.
Mhm.
You know, it trades with the other Inkling. The other thing grows, but yeah, this is, see, here's the thing: we're taking necrotic fumes. It's good for Arrogant Poet because that card isn't doing much, and you can
Yep.
get rid of a flyer. Um, right now, not quite sure what flyer, but hey.
Okay, so instead of necrotic fumes, go with the inkling summoning. And if I had to guess, that was probably because it's an exile effect rather than a sacrifice trigger. Um, if it was a sacrifice, that would have been a no question. You um, get the free token off of that. But now we got a forced block. Sultan has to do something here.
Sultan has to do something, and no longer is after this attack. No longer does Sultan have a top deck removal win. Top deck removal doesn't do anything. He needs 2 removals.
Yeah.
And you know, when you take something out of the air, it helps out Queenie even more because, you know, this Thunderous Orator needs to have a creature that can fly.
Sultan at 6 mana too, so even Second Sun is not going to buff him to. I mean, it'll get him to 12 life, but still, that's not even enough.
How much life does Second Sun give you?
Gives you 7 life.
Wow.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's a wild card. Well, Sultan did win last week, and he does make a great deck, so I'm sure he knows that maybe luck just isn't on his side in this game. Professor?
Ooh. Okay. Now we may see reduced to memory come out here.
Oh, I definitely think we see reduced to memory, but I think that might be reduced too late. You take out the Star Pupil,
Yep.
and you wouldn't take out the Sparing Regimen, which is what you want to take out, but you got to get rid of this Pupil. The problem with that is the Queenie will just attack with something else in the air. Probably should attack with the Eye Twitch because it just comes back.
Yeah, just comes back as another
grows. It comes back as
summoning.
a 3/2.
Yeah. Oh. Gotta give it to Sultan. He is playing to his outs. He's playing to the lines that are available to him. But Queenie really came. Came from behind this game because like early on it seemed like things were going to be an issue.
Yeah, and I guess he is thinking if I exile it, I am just going to make a 4/3 on the other side. This might just be the nail in the coffin, unless she makes arrogant pays 2 life and gives Arrogant Poet flying.
I have accidentally done that.
But yeah, lost. I think she's still playing it safe. I wouldn't play it safe. I'd go all in. At least with everything.
That's what I would do too. I'd be like, he's got 1 blue mana. Like, I got 6, you got 4. go home.
Go home to your babysitter. It's time to get real. But I mean, this is still a great attack.
Yeah.
I don't know why we didn't attack with the other Inkling because we gave it Vigilance. Maybe just because we could. I mean, she is playing really safe, and she is, like we said, kind of in a safe position.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious that this. I'm wondering whether or not Sultan has something to kind of pull out of his bag of tricks.
Well, when you're up against 3 flyers, a 7/7 that when it dies, okay, we get approach, 8 life, but a little too late for that. Even with Lash of Malice at instant speed, we could also get
Go all in. Go all in.
Yeah, I think you
just,
have to go all in.
Go. Yeah. Even just go with 3.
I think you go. I mean, this is double lethal.
Yeah, this is. Yeah.
I think she was trying to think of the maths. Maths is hards.
You could even lash of malice your own thing.
Well, yeah.
Insult to injury.
Insult into injury.
Yeah.
And with the go ahead of blocks, the next button, that is going to be round number 1.
Wow. So looking at that, I mean, we haven't had many of these sort of flying aggro face-offs. That I think that was the first one like that we've had this season. And in terms of just like straight up aggro matchups, I think that was the best example so far.
Yeah, I definitely feel like, well, we know Queenie is a great deck builder, so I imagine she saw Mana Sultan's deck last week and said, well, if flyers are going to be the way, I'm going to do it. Obviously I was not as enthused with her deck, but it went the distance.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the deck could just only from here get better.
Yep.
And hoping to see less lessons, and take out Umbrella Juke because it's not a card that I like, and I think that you can get way better uncommons, and since you only have 6 uncommon slots, you have a good chance,
Yeah. But we'll see. And again, Mana Sultan may be able to win these next 3 rounds or next 2 rounds, and
not go in complete defeat.
Right.
Talking about defeat, we are feeling a little bit defeated because our YouTube channel is not getting the love that it needs. So if you're watching on Twitch right now, please go to YouTube and search Curiosity MTG. We are 1/4 the way there to get youtube.com/CuriosityMTG. It's something that we really want. And hey, on the flip side, if you're watching on YouTube right now, we feel really hurt that you haven't subscribed or followed our individual Twitch channels. That's _ida twitch.tv/the_ida and twitch.tv/SwordsAndStatutes.
And also twitch.tv/the_Sultan. He's the other member of Team Cap. Go follow him too.
And then I'm also noticing that not everyone here is following the Instagrams. We have a plenty amount of Instagrams, mainly Curiosity MTG, the_ida.
It's everything you would imagine.
Swords and Statutes, and the Mana Sultan. So that is that. We'll be right back with round number 2 while we wait for you to click those subscribe and follow buttons.
Yeah, the faster you subscribe, the faster I'll get more fish.
All right, so we have Xivilian and with some neat looking deck versus week 1 Curiosity Challenge winner, Ensignredshirt, aka Andrew.
Yeah, so I need to check these guys' records, but Xivilian has been talking about this deck for about a week now, week or two. They saw Luis Scott Vargas build a draft deck like this and was inspired to try it in Curiosity, and I think it will hold up. Yeah, Clever Lumimancer coming down turn 2 at a 3/4. Jeez.
Turn 2 a 3/4. I'm not a big fan of Clever Lumimancer, but that combination, is decent.
Actually, both of these players won their first round, so
nice.
Chose a good one.
Well, they're all great games.
It's true. It's true.
It's very interesting that we didn't block with the Clever Lumimancer, but hey, they're the players and I'm the played. I'm the played.
So the thing about Lumimancer is you can bluff attacks and pumps really well, but if you don't have one, my gosh, is that a risk? More so than with other creatures, it feels like. Okay, we see Necrotic Fumes getting rid of that with their first Pledge Mage.
Mm-hmm. Which is, I think that's the right play. You know that the Pledge Mage is only going to get better as it sticks on the battlefield. But not getting a land is pretty problematic for Xivilian, just because we have some spells that we want to kind of double spell on a turn.
Xivilian is going to be a tough creature to deal with, it seems like. That Menace plus Lifelink, and here with Andrew having 3 mana up, which is prime for Expel. It seems like we're in the market for that.
In the market for a tasty surprise. We definitely do a Mage Duel to get rid of the Duelist. Finally get our land, so that's great.
Mage Duel seems a very solid card right here. Oh, getting rid of the eye twitch rather than Killian. Okay. And a make your mark to not only pump the eye twitch, but to also create a 3/2 for Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to pump, but it is, it's going to die. Show of Confidence.
Well, that, I think this will kill the Pledge Mage. Wow.
Math is hard.
Oh, nope, I did the math wrong again.
I did 0 math, and I was just waiting to see what happens. Now, I think maybe what Andrew was going for was making it so this Pledge Mage will not attack this turn. But I wonder if we'll see a Study Break.
I think a Study Break now is too early.
Well, I think it's too early. I agree. I don't think it's too early. I think it is early, but I mean, that would be what? I don't know, a lot of damage in.
Yeah, if a Study Break had been used, that would have been at least 11, maybe 12, 13 damage. Combat Professor now, and here's the Study Break.
Here's Study Break.
To get Expand Anatomy. Okay, all right, that seems decent.
Yeah, that seems really good.
So we're putting Expanded Anatomy onto Lumimancer. Yeah, we're pushing in here. So whereas last week we had, I think, what, 3 or 4 approach decks.
Mm-hmm.
This is we have our meta has shifted hard toward aggro. It looks like with another dramatic finale. Wow. Okay.
Okay. Things are getting popping. Going all in with your turkeys. That is just pretty good. And look at that. Oh, we do have lethal here.
We do. Yeah, because snakeskin veil
Okay.
right there. You can just pop on in.
Yep. It was very tit tat, and then you top deck
Yep.
a win.
I'm curious as to why Andrew attacked that last, like, attacked with everything that last
Maybe
turn.
he did not do math.
Yeah, it seems like that. I mean, Andrew's a smart guy, but all of us have math problems.
All of us have had math problems. Well,
That's
he
right.
is in Germany, so
They use the metric system.
not about no, not like that. I'm more about the time system.
Oh, that's right. It's
Because
just too late for him to be playing.
yeah, he and good on him for wanting to hang out with us.
That's right.
Being
Big. Let's put some judges in the chat for Andrew.
Judges in the chat for Andrew. Here, I'll do it in my chat too.
Whoa.
Okay.
Regarding sideboarding though, Andrew has mostly a learn board or a lesson board. The only non-lessons are Selfless Glyph Weaver / Deadly Vanity and Fracture. Fracture that's a perfect sideboard card. For Civilian's deck, it is all lessons plus Luca.
I thought he had
and Luca
something.
didn't come in.
I thought he had something else, but maybe I was off.
Oh, and Beaming Defiance.
Beaming Defiance, yeah. All right, getting a witch. Like it.
Dig it.
And Dragon's Guard Elite, so definitely can get pumped up. I know that Xivilian has these Xivilian has a lot of like Magecraft synergy. And you know, Magecraft synergy works really well with lessons, you know. But it seems like it feels like to me that he's behind right now.
Agreed.
But that is kind of a Magecraft thing, is it? Magecraft with counters kind of issue is it takes a while for them to grow, and hopefully they can tough it out.
Knowing that Civilian is also running Mavinda, and all of their, or at least most of their cards target their own creatures, so getting Mavinda down probably next turn is going to be really strong.
For our audience who's not really used to Moldrova, the student advocate, can you tell us what this card does?
Yeah, let me pull up the rules text because this is a long one. It's similar to Feather, if you recall that, where you can sort of cast spells again. But Mavinda, Student's Advocate, is a 3-mana, 2 and a white, flying 2/3, and it has a text that says 0 mana. You may cast target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard this turn. If that spell doesn't target a creature you control, it costs 8 more to cast this way. That spell will be put in your graveyard, exile instead, activate only once per turn. So what that boils down to is you can cast spells that target your creatures, but if you're going to target your opponent's creatures, you have to pay the mana value plus 8.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, and there we go. And now you know the rules.
Yep, there's Moldova. So look at this. It's kind of interesting. We have Ensignredshirt. The third deck that we've seen so far today that is playing Flyer, 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 Flyer.
And the second Orzhov one, or Silverquill Flyer stack.
Silverquill. We see some familiar cards and some not so familiar cards.
To note, though, Combat Professor was one of the top 5 commons for Curiosity Strixhaven. So we're seeing that pan out. Expanded Anatomy going on to Mavinda. Oh my gosh, we're getting so many triggers here.
Yeah.
Going in.
Hide your keys because you're about to get triggered, says Xivilian. And having Dragon's Guard Elite at 4 counters, oh man, you know that feels good.
Wow, yeah. Dragon's Guard Elite was a card that I completely slept on, and it can be the nuts.
Yeah, I think the issue with Curiosity is like rares that don't do anything on the turn that they're played are scary. Especially creatures. If they're a rare that's not doing something on the turn that it's played, it can be not bueno, I think is the phrase. Because they can be removed. Now I know everything can be removed. Show of Confidence. You play Show of Confidence again.
Wow.
Yeah, this
is just trampling right here.
And
Andrew's like, I'm not taking it.
I'm not taking it. I've had enough of your sass. Oops.
Dang.
Oh no. Where is my... There we go. A little bit off on today.
Well, the thing with that, though, like what you're saying of a card that enters the battlefield or is cast and has no effect on the board, that has been a sort of design, call it an issue if you want, with the past maybe 6 sets of Magic, at least the past like 2 years, from War of the Spark on. If you haven't had immediate impact, you're really in trouble. And that was also one of the sort of key issues with you look at cards like Oko and Uro. You drop Oko, you can immediately do something that impacts the board. It really sets your opponent behind. With Uro, even though it gets sacrificed, you're gaining life, drawing a card, playing a land immediately. Whereas, go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, with that maybe you and I are just stuck in our brains of the last set, Kalheim, because there was so much creature removal. And yeah, there's not as much creature removal at common in this format. It's not like it's not there. So
right. And also too, like we got Clausies asking, why aren't people playing board wipes in the sideboard? And crucially, Andrew he was playing the Selfless Vanity or Deadly Vanity. That's a board wipe, but it is extremely overcosted. It costs it's like 8 mana.
Wow.
And yeah, and so to enable yourself to play board wipe in this format, you really have to work for it.
Well, just like Rihanna said, work. And on that, we will be right back with round number 3, the final round, aka the best round. Who is going to be this crowned cave dweller today? All right, beautiful face you have there, Swords. So we are watching Kang Breath versus the Mana Sultan in round number 3. looks like Sultan has mulliganed once,
We have
and
Kang mulligan once.
sorry, Kang. Yes, we were watching from Kang.
And Kang is undefeated so far
In
in this week.
okay, and Sultan also undefeated because we're in the finals.
Sultan lost the first game. We watched the first game with Sultan.
Oh, undefeated. Okay.
Yeah.
Your
I was
undefeated
thinking
phrasing
the full,
is
yeah. Anyway,
Moving on.
wait, Kang getting down the Needlethorn Drake, one of the best 2-drops in the format, and then he's going field tripping.
Field trip gonna get us a forest on the battlefield and learn a card. We have another field trip, and we have a Eureka moment. So noticeably, Kang only has 6 lessons, and he has a test of talent sideboard, which is what I have done in even the decks that I play with that are lessened base have tested talents in the sideboard. And this may be, in the Quandrix decks, this is similar to my Quandrix deck, where you just try to get as many lands down as possible, and hopefully you go big.
So those 2 emergence sequences, I think we may see some fun things with that here briefly as well. I've been unimpressed by that card on the whole, but has not been. Maybe Kang can make it work.
Designers make it work. I think it's interesting. Maybe we get the mascot.
Is that your Tim Gunn?
Yeah.
Designers make it work.
Designers make it work.
You make it sound like Bert and Ernie.
That's just what I imagine he sounds like. I used to love that show.
Same, man. Project Runway was the shit.
I don't think that you have to even be like interested in game shows or fashion.
Yeah.
And it's just always well put together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Bravo, you really know how to do your shows.
Some of them.
Bravo, you really know how to do some of your shows.
Hey, Bravo, if you want to do a show about either streamers or just Magic, we're your boys. We'll be there for you. All right, Frost Trickster, tricking down that Drake.
And Swords, you have been exiled.
oh my God. I feel like this is a great idea for something. Oh, man.
So
Eureka moment.
2 lands. Nope.
What is Kang building to? Like, looking at his deck, he's got 2 bookworms, so that's something. He's also running a Time Morph and a Blue Sun Zenith. So definitely big mana plays. And I guess the fractal summoning, some like just do it for a billion.
Mm-hmm. Does he have the 6 mana fractal token equal to your lands card?
Surprisingly, no. He is not running Leyline Invocation, which seems like it would be perfect for this. But we do see a Blue Sun Zenith come down.
Well, and we
probably can't cast it this turn, but Quandrix Cultivator.
You can make a 3/3, or is it a 4/4? Yeah, it's a 4/4. Tapped land.
So Zenith could do how much at this point? 1, 2, 7. Blue Sun Zenith could go for like 8.
8 cards. Well, maybe
Wow.
that's the win con is you make is I know that residential um, uh, animal. I was gonna say what is a claw? Um,
It's like a it's like an
Body part?
appendage. It's a yeah.
Yeah, Colossus has done a mill deck um, that ends with you forcing your opponent to draw all their cards.
I don't think that Kang is there yet though. Um,
I mean, I
I mean,
highly doubt it.
going in with for 7 there, taking Sultan into 13. Kang's in a treacherous position though, because he'll be taking 4 in the air
Yep,
for the next 2 turns. You got a 2-turn clock here.
2 turn clock, and that's kind of how we see these flying decks. Um,
Oof.
these flying decks can really make these games go a lot shorter if your opponent doesn't have ways to deal with flying cards.
And Sultan still has 26 cards in deck. Do you see how many Kang had? I missed it.
I did not look, but Mascot Exhibition is also a great card. I think Kang has to draw his own cards. Yep.
That's
Draw.
we're gonna see it fire off.
Or force your opponent to draw their cards
And discard.
and discard, but then hope that you get Blue Sun Zenith off the top.
I mean, that's the way Clausies did it. Resident appendage Clausies. Kang's struggling to get the
What Kang is
mana
trying to
right.
do is trying to leave up mana for the scry, which
Oh,
I feel like is not as good as just getting to a full hand of 7.
I agree. I feel like you should just go ham.
And then is this Test of Talents?
Oh, ouch. So yeah, that's gotta hurt for Kang right there. The thing is though, Kang's deck is not entirely just dead without Blue Sun Zenith. We see a decent board, and especially with that fractal, there is gameplay. And yeah, with a bookworm, he's still in the game.
Bookworm kind of still in the game. You're alive another turn.
Barely.
You might as well attack with your.
Ooh.
Okay. Well, I guess you can't attack with anything because the Star Pupil will just pump something up. So yeah, this is it. That's game.
Yep.
Kang saying, I don't want to stand here and watch myself die a bunch of times, so I will give you the dubs so we can move on.
So is Kang gonna bring in Test of Talents? Yes.
Oh yeah,
Taking out. What's he taking out here?
taking out Test of
Maybe
Talents.
not.
I mean this is what I said about.
Took out both bookworms.
Uh,
What are his other uncommons here? Emergent sequence. I think you take out those.
I think yeah. I mean, Quandrix Cultivator, Emergent Sequence gets you to ramp, but I just.
Yeah, like
It's interesting. Sequence... we obviously we're on the other side of what's happening. We're just watching, but when you have, I mean, I don't understand Kang's deck. I'll just say it there. I don't understand it, but obviously it's gone 2-0 this week, so for us that's really good.
I feel like Kang did made a decent call there, going one of cultivator and bookworm, that seems better than just taking out bookworm entirely, because bookworm's going to be what can push through and win the game.
Does bookworm
But
have trample?
it does.
Okay.
Yeah, emergent sequence. I think we've seen here that it is not the kind of way to just win that folks, or it is not the ramp spell that it wants to be. Getting a mascot exhibition, that's another way Kang can win, but we do know that Sultan has that in his deck as well.
Are you feeling the heat?
I don't know, like this Celsius heat, uh the taste has grown on me. I get the cherry lime. So yeah, but I don't.
It looks like a stevia kind of drink. Does it have stevia in it?
I don't know.
What's
it's kosher.
What's the sweetener that it uses?
Sucralose. So it's Splenda.
Splenda.
It's got 300 grams of caffeine.
Oh, well, hopefully be awake for our stream.
Yeah.
Wow, Kang Breath top decking both his rares.
And he's got enough to do Time Warp.
He's got enough to do Time Warp, but with a sparing regime on the other side of the battlefield, things are gonna get out of hand quickly. Because I recall approximately 0 removal in Kang's deck.
Yeah, the only removal that Kang has is 2 Mage Jewels.
Okay, so he's 2 Mage Jewels, and then he has a Lesson of Annihilation, or whatever it's called?
Correct. Introduction to Annihilation, and that will get rid of a non-land permanent. And actually, looking here, he could Field Trip or Pop Quiz to go get that. And that seems...
Oh, he does have an enchantment removal. Isn't he have Containment Breach in his sideboard?
He's running basic Conjuration. Those kind of look the same.
Did he just... Oh. I thought he Blue Sun Zenith. I was like, did he just Blue Sun Zenith for 0?
So we got a Time Warp and then a Mascot Exhibition. Pretty strong play from Kang there. This makes the board harder for Mana Sultan to deal with. And how much mana has Kang got here? 7?
7 mana.
He could Field Trip, go grab Annihilation, and then be at 8.
Yeah, I
wouldn't be able to use it, but
I think Field Trip or I thought he had one of the enchantment removal, but he doesn't.
That's Sultan's running the enchantment removal. He's running Reduced to Memory.
Well, that's a permanent removal, but let's not get into semantics.
Yeah, let's not split hairs.
Let's just calm down, all right?
Yeah, I'm so calm drinking Celsius heat.
Celsius heat. It grows on you.
That's right. I'm gonna go run around my backyard and I don't know.
Get naked and run through the sprinklers. So we get another
We got another Natal Thorn Druk.
Natal Thorn Druk, and we're gonna have Field Trip. Field Drip. Yo, I'm just walking in the field with my drip. Do you like professional casters? Neither do we.
All right, Kang is gonna go in with a 3/2. Okay, that's fine. It's a choice. Oh, excuse me. I would have done the first thing he did of go in with the 4/4 and the 3/2. But what am I to know? I'm just sitting here.
You're just sitting here being a
That's right.
human being.
I'm just. That's right. There's a line like that on X-Files recently. I don't know everything. I'm just a human being.
I like that. I'm I like how Kang decided to block
Yeah.
and with his larger ground creatures because he knows his opponent has larger air creatures.
But Kang's got these two like missiles in the sky that are just gonna poke through and be like, "That's right, I got death touch. My touch,
Your touch what?
my touch,
Oh.
touch."
Okay.
Star Pupple and Thunderas Orator coming down, but a bookworm is gonna
Test of Talons.
oof. Man, I love this attack right here because Kang is like, I dare you to block with your pup and
Mm-hmm.
then make your other thing get bigger, but then I'll just kill it with my needle thorn droke.
Needlethorn or even Bookworm.
Yeah.
Side's not so. So yeah, with this Bookworm on the opposite side, Sultan doesn't really have any attacks. And Sultan probably he is also in an area. I guess he is also as hot and sweaty as I am right now. So probably just trying to no correlation. You know, we didn't make each other hot and sweaty. So quit giggling over there, swords. Um, you know, he's just in another area hot and
That's right.
sweaty. So I understand. You know, it might take some time to play your turns.
Combat Professor hitting in though. I don't think we're going to see an attack though. Those two Drakes plus the okay. Uh, this is because of the flying from Combat Professor and the pump. Okay, that's an interesting trade there from Sultan because Thunderous Orator is just something we saw have so much potential in his last game.
Yeah, I wonder if he happens to have another thunderous orator on his side of things,
Mm-hmm.
and so he is thinking, hey, maybe I need to just get rid of these spells
So
or these Drake. Sorry.
Kang went ahead and got fractal summoning rather than introduction to annihilation. So that to me that reads, "Hey, I don't care about your sparring regime. You're gonna see
Yeah,
Mage Duel on to Combat Professor, but do we see a Test of Talents come out here?
and then do we
Yes.
see a test of talents on a test of talents?
Kang's thinking about it.
I I don't know why you
What do you
wouldn't.
do there? Uh, I feel like that's okay because
I don't think it's okay.
well, Kang knows that Sultan's running uh, approach. So
Oh,
being
okay.
able to have test up is going to be really important later in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer that my opponent didn't know that I had test. I'd also prefer that my opponent didn't have a chance of playing another test.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I understand that with approach, but in all honesty, I don't think that Mana Sultan's deck is the approach you want to be afraid of. He's even said
Oh
that
yeah,
nobody I have yet to win with it because it's not really supported. It's just a good card to have in my deck because I can win with it, but I don't need it at all. It's a backup to a backup to a backup, sir.
we're seeing a pop quiz come out and grab an introduction to annihilation. Do we think that's going to go for the sparring regimen?
I find it very interesting. I I know that we've seen a lot of sparring regimens. God damn. I haven't laughed at all saying bad, stupid names, but I mean, I feel like with the amount of sparring regimens we've seen this week, we are going to see a lot of enchantment. Uh, at least the lesson enchantment destroyer in
Yep.
green, and maybe even more of the hit anything white spell that swords is or that mana sultan's running.
Well, we see Mana Sultan take the L right there, and Kang is taking out. He's going back to the 1-1 for the cultivator and the bookworm.
Yeah, I
I
definitely feel like that's a good play.
I well, so last game we did not see emergent sequence come out. I think that would be what to take out, but I mean, Kang's not listening to us. He's
And
not drinking Celsius heat.
Celsius heat, you'll get used to it.
Like I'm feeling it now, man. This is kind of like when I was driving back from Florida. I was like 19. I had like four friends in the car, and I drank a 5-hour energy because I'm a dumbass.
Mm-hmm.
And I was bouncing off the walls. My heart was racing. That is not what's happening right now. Celsius heat, but yeah, I'm feeling it.
I had a 5 hour energy drink when I was like 21, 22, and this was before I knew that I had anxiety. And I was driving to my long distance girlfriend's house, which was like a 3 to 4 hour drive. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and um, I was super, super tired, and I was still like an hour away. And I'm like, I might need to just pull over. But no, I took a 5 hour energy drink, and then I had a panic attack. But I didn't know I was having I didn't know anything because I never
Yeah,
had a panic attack before.
that's the way to drive.
King
Kang just
mulling
mulled
down.
3 times.
Well, he had a land, and then he mulled and had a land, and so we are gonna keep this trash hand.
Yeah, yeah, this is rough. Having to get rid of a mage duel and time warp.
Yeah, I mean, Mage Duel works really good with Needlethorn, especially
Especially,
seeing this.
yeah,
But sometimes Mage Duel is just a 2 for 1 in the opposite direction. And I wouldn't take this. Okay. So Sultan.
that was a strong play on Kang, knowing that Orator can get out of hand, sort of being able to take it down early. It's a good call.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what there is in white blue. Um, that's the only reason why I might have not have blocked there because it would be scary. Could have had the -4 -0 card. Now I know that I'm guessing I know that he's not running it, but it's still
True.
a good card.
Sultan drops combat professor, and oh my gosh, Kang is just hurting here. Only drawing lands.
Yeah, very interesting that he decided to hold up
Right.
that, which kind of sets him a turn back. I mean, sure,
I,
it.
I think basic conjuration is his best play here because that finds you creatures, it gains you life. But we see mascot exhibition.
Yeah, it says forget what you're saying, swords. I'm 2 turns away from this card. And Mana Sultan says, match your mascot exposition with my Xbox exposition.
So Kang has a eureka moment that he passes on. Um, Combat Professor going bop in. Um, so we can Let's see what that looks like.
What a bopping in looks like?
Yeah. I don't even know what I was gonna say there. We do see Kang draw a time warp though. Oh
Yeah,
crap.
we got time warp. I feel like you do mascot exhibition and then get 2 attacks in.
So the thing is though, like Kang is they're a survivor. They got the introduction to annihilation, being able to take out this common professor, but it feels like we're seeing a test of talents. Maybe. Yes.
Okay.
And Sultan knows about the mascot exhibition, so I wonder if Sultan's holding up another one.
Just values that he has a card that's doing 4 damage each turn that can only grow.
Bam.
He has his own mascot.
So Kang is going to time warp here, or not.
Yeah, a time warp isn't that great. It's only going to draw you 1 card. You don't have anything on board.
Well, it's like it's a good card, Bront, but like but you have to have cards in hand. If you're just using it to draw extra cards, then yeah, you're kind of sunk.
5
Kang
mana
down to 2. Oof.
5 mana draw a card is not that great. And well, Island, hey, you still get to play again.
It's true. Spin the wheel. If I was Kang, I would attack. What do you got to lose?
Your board state. You only really have 1 attack. You've got to find something good.
There's not much in Kang's deck that can straight up win the game. Maybe Blue Sun Zenith.
You know what's very interesting?
What?
I
didn't know.
If Mana Sultan wins, we will see a sparring regimen being suspended.
Well, actually, I'll say this after, but you're right. We would see sparring regimen be suspended, and Blue Sun and Purchase Second Sun.
Oh, test of talents tested too late.
Oh man, Kang put up a really good effort here.
Yeah, I just might as well scry.
Yeah, might as well just see. There we go. There's the good game.
There's the good game. There's the attackies. Sultan going in the air, showing that flyers are criers.
That's right. Flyers dominated this week. Congratulations to Mana Sultan for that win there. So
congratulations to Mana Sultan, and we will be right back with an interview with the Mana Sultan.
Actually, no,
No.
not the Mana Sultan. I think that Queenie Airy went undefeated this week.
Undefeated!
Yes, she went undefeated this week. However, she also had Sparring Regimen in her deck. So Sparring Regimen is suspended.
Ooh. So let's get Queenie in this if we can.
Ready.
All right, so we have Queenie Airy, the crowned cave dweller of week number 4, Strixhaven. How you doing, Queenie? How are you feeling?
Really good. Really good. I was really nervous about Xivilian deck, which I played in week 2.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it was like the just for fun week, and I'm so glad that I was able to pull a victory over that deck.
But yeah, that was the thing. Like both the y'all's decks sort of were focused on sort of getting your board state and then just going fast. But it looks like you were able to do that faster.
Yeah, I think I had a little upper hand because I knew his deck from playing it before, and I knew that there weren't that many creatures. So then I just knew there was a lot of value in being able to kill his creatures because there weren't that many, so I could control, if possible, the board state.
Mm-hmm. Well, so talk to us about sort of how you approach the deck. Because, like, I remember back before the season started, you and I had spoken about using Dramatic Finale as one of your main rares.
Yeah, yeah. So my this was actually my first deck idea because I thought making kind of a Silver Quill flyer deck, and the card I was thinking about Dramatic Finale, but I was also thinking about that 3-drop that's a 2/2 flyer and it's a Silver Quill card, and when a creature with flying dies, you can put a counter on it. So I just thought, oh, like what value with Dramatic Finale? If I have flyers, my creatures die, I get more flyers, I put counters on stuff. It just seemed like you know, a good strategy.
Right.
I'm glad I actually was able to put the deck together and that it worked.
Yeah, it
So,
was. I mean, I think we noticed a lot of movement in the air this week. Saw a little bit of it last week, but definitely if you were flying and your opponent wasn't flying, you're probably gonna win.
Yeah, very true. Very true. I actually think of the 3 matches, the hardest was well, they were all challenging, but Mana Sultan, it was harder to get damage through because he also has a flyers type
right.
deck. So that was a
Yeah, like,
little bit of a struggle.
well, yes. Seeing both of y'all match up was quite interesting because there were multiple times when both of y'all had the card Sparring Regimen out. Um,
Yeah.
and so uh, congratulations to you. Not only did you win this week, but you are responsible for getting Sparring Regimen suspended for a week.
Yeah, since Sparring
Okay.
Regimen was in a winning deck 2 weeks in a row, it gets suspended.
Against the axe.
So
So so does that mean next week I have to change my deck?
I would say you don't have
Yes.
to, but you can't have a Sparring Regimen in it.
Yeah, so that's something that I came up once last season. So we'll reach out to you and sort of let you know what that looks like. But yeah, more or less, you're sort of in the fun position of being on top and getting to also play a more or less new deck.
Ooh, okay. It's like a double bonus.
Yeah. Well, cool.
But one question before we go, Queenie, what words of advice do you have to all of the folks who are learning about curiosity right now and are like, hey, I want to start building a deck and I don't know what to do. I have a hero or heroine, Queenie Airy, to look up to, and I want to be just like her. What words of advice would you give them?
I feel like you should build your deck around I always say this, but like around a draft that you did really well in or a draft that you had a lot of fun playing. That's a really good starting point. I would kind of just start there. Make sure you have more than just creatures. Put in some removal. That's another hot tip.
It's hot tech right there.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, thank you very much for hanging out.
And Queenie,
Yeah.
where can folks find you on the internet?
So you can find me on Twitch at Queenie Airy and also on Instagram. And that's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing what you got next week.
Yeah, I'll see you guys next week.
Sweet.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, Nathaniel,
Oh
are
my.
you excited for next week? Now that we got another meta shift.
Honestly, I am excited. It was very interesting just because we like the first 2 weeks of Strixhaven Curiosity were definitely more interesting than our past. I think we were all just pretty excited to enter a format that didn't have a ton of removal compared to Kalheim, and then the learn lesson aspect was pretty cool. And I will probably speak this into annihilation, but I think that the winning decks, and we've seen it a little bit more, the winning decks will still run lesson cards, but more like closer to 3 or 4 in the sideboard instead of the which now is 6. It was 8. Now we've saw a lot of decks with 6 in the sideboard. Honestly, I know that there's a lot of them that are good, and they're very good in coming up with responses, but I don't think that they're good in the best of 3 format. I just think there's better cards that could be played.
Yeah, it will be something to see whether or not by the end of the season we see a full, move away from just having lessons and maybe having a 4-4 split, which seems a bit more reasonable than the 8 card only lesson board, or even the 6 that we're seeing now.
I definitely just want to put out there that I definitely think that by the end of the season we'll see no fractal summoning in the sideboard at all. I think that card is not as good as you think it's going to be, and by the time you can play it and make a big creature, your opponents are going to have something bigger, or you will already have lost. They either go bigger or wider by the time you can play that fractal summoning. And we saw it today. A lot of people brought in fractal summoning, but we didn't see it get played once. Well,
yeah.
Swords, do you have anything else?
Nothing really. I think it's going to be fun next week. And even though we're halfway through the season, this is still an excellent time to get in. Because, like we mentioned earlier, we're only cutting to top 7 this season. So our 8th seed, that is reserved for someone who plays in our sort of losers bracket. That'll be on June 25th, where anyone who has played this season is going to have a chance to get in and see if they can get that last spot. So still got plenty of time to sort of try to break this format. So looking forward to it.
Well, you know what they say. Until next time, we're